We're going to talk through this slate real quick. This weekend, the RBC Heritage. I'm always a little bit nervous about the weekend after the Masters and see what people do, and it's going to be interesting because we're going to have to talk about some chalk that's expensive and potentially you got baby issues. It's going to be interesting. So, Sheets, any overall thoughts before we get into the slate?
Yeah, so it's apparently it's a course that really does not do much for people that hit it really far. Not that hitting it far is bad, but
Right.
you don't really gain all too much. Everybody ends up with pretty much the same second shot. So you got to be, targeting, the accurate iron players and the accurate drivers, not so much the big bombers. And I have to tell you, during the course of this week, I've been running builds and running stuff like several different times, and I was getting some weird exposures. And I'm going to get to what they were as we get to this range. But I'm doing another one now with updated projections and hoping it looks a little more normal. But we'll take a look, because when you set a price structure like this and you put somebody at 13.3, it messes around. You know what I mean? So you have to really when I rate my guys by value here, the top guys aren't even rated high at all. Just because these bottom guys have good point per dollar projections and stuff. Anyway, that's kind of behind the scenes stuff. We'll
what you're saying, though, I think is the reason is what's going to happen is that everybody's going to end up spending up for things because they have the money.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that sort of what you're saying? No.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying it's hard. It's hard for me to kind of just even look at it without actually building. Normally I can just see who looks like the good plays, and then to kind of put them all together. But here I can't even just look at the good plays, because the best plays are all 6,300. You know what I mean, or whatever. So we'll get to it. But we'll do what we always do. We'll just go through tier by tier, and we'll see if we can't figure out what to do. And I guess you want to start off with this top tier? I mean, which one of these, presuming everybody plays and on all this stuff and nobody drops out, I think we would have heard if somebody was dropping out by now. So everybody's right in there, So who do you like in this particular spot? You can talk about you can talk about master stuff. You have Aberg and Morikawa, both coming off of really, really big Masters weeks. As did obviously Scheffler. And how much is that going to play into how you analyze things? What do you like in this top range?
I'm going to be completely honest.
You always are.
I'm going to try to get to the top range. I guess I'm going to end up getting to the top range because, like you mentioned, there is value that makes a lot of sense. I will definitely. I hand built so far some lineups this morning. I have no Scotty Scheffler. It just feels stupid not to play him, but at the same time, dude, we were just worried at the Masters about him having a baby. Now we're a week later in a tournament that doesn't mean it just, and he's 2,000 more than everybody else. I personally am going to try to avoid some of it, but at the same time, that's clearly a guy you can get and you should always play when you can get. So I feel a little funny about it. I am sort of down on almost everything else in this range. I could see Morikawa about, continuing playing strong after he was horrible for basically a year and played great last week. Cantlay, I think, is kind of a sneaky one. I think I'm just going to do the thing that I feel like the other best player in this range, or at least the guy who's played the best, is Oberg. And I think he's going to be the highest owned for me. But even that, honestly, my early builds, I didn't necessarily play that much from this range. And I was getting 3 guys in the 9K range consistently. That's sort of how my builds kept going.
I'm getting a little more Scheffler than I thought I was going to get. I was expecting to get 0, and every build I made over the last couple of days was getting me 0. And now I don't know what's changed about the new builds or whatever that I'm doing, but I'm getting more than 0. I'm getting about 18% Scheffler. And I don't even know if that's going to be over the field or under the field. I'm not even sure what people are going to actually do. I think that people are going to be less on him in the big buy-ins.
Interesting.
I do. But I'm getting like 18%. That's just what I'm getting right now. The guy that I'm getting even more of than him is actually both, like Oberg and Scheffler. Oberg and Schauffele. Sorry. So I'm getting Schauffele and Oberg. I'm really not getting to any McIlroy. I'm not getting to any, or not much at all, of Rory. And I'm getting a little bit of Morikawa. So I am getting more of this top range than I thought I was going to, again, because, as you mentioned, you can get to them with some of these prices, which we'll get to a little bit later. But yeah, I guess the odd man out for me, well, the odd man, I think Cantlay and McIlroy would be the two that I would get the least of. And here's the thing about Schauffele. He's been just as always, he's been like really consistent and consistently not actually threatening to win. You know what I mean? But right in there at 10-8, you almost want to win though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of do.
So but that's kind of what I'm getting right now is more Schauffele than these other guys.
Yep. I'll start off this range, the 9K range, because to be honest with you, like obviously if I'm not going to be playing as much from the 10K plus range, I kind of have to be playing these guys, and I love them. Look, as you guys know, I don't think I need news to anybody that I'm always the biggest Tommy Fleetwood guy out there. I'm always going to play him like crazy. I have no reason not to play him like crazy this week. And I love both he and Fitz especially. I like Homa a lot as well. I'm curious to see how Homa sort of controlled it. Like, I understand he didn't win the tournament, but I thought he did the most interesting job outside of Oberg just hits the ball. Like the way that he was managing the course, I thought it was interesting. It was a much more old school, just playing defensive, protective golf for the most part that worked. I'm just kind of curious to see if he carries it over, though, because that was the best, obviously the best major result he's ever had. But I like those three right there: Fleetwood, Homa, Fitz. I don't know why people aren't playing Fitz. First of all, he won this tournament last year. He's 9,600, which feels totally appropriate. I like him every bit as much as I like Xander. Obviously, he's more volatile, but that's fine. I love Wyndham. I don't understand these ownerships, and it's interesting because I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy, but like Wyndham at 9,200, Wyndham has been a significantly better golfer than everybody not named Scottie Scheffler on this list right here, like significantly better. And because he doesn't play well at the Masters in his first Masters, I'm not gonna punish him. So I like that. So Fleetwood, Fitz, and Wyndham being my favorite. I will have exposure to everyone in this range, including Spieth, Zalatoris, and Homa as well. But this whole range, I'll be all over. This is where my high ownership is going to come.
Yep. Well, one of us is going to win because I'm way off of this one. Like the only guy I have almost at all in this range is Zalatoris, and that's only at 15%. And so that's just the way it's going to be, I guess. Like Homa, yeah, I mean, absolutely, it certainly makes sense. But just because I'm getting these other guys that I'm just not getting to the 9Ks. And like you said, I mean, if I'm getting that probably means a lot of people are. So if you could build with these 9K guys, like if you play Fleetwood and Fitz and Homa or whatever it is, then I definitely think you're going to get different.
Yep. And I think that's sort of like what I was looking at, and partly the ownership really swayed me as well. All right. Let's move on to the 8K range. What do you want to start this one off?
Yep, I will. Okay, because all right. So I did 2 sets of builds like every day, starting with when projections came out, which is Tuesday. I did a sim calculation. I did this. I tweaked this. I did all kinds of different things. And almost every single time I was getting literally 100% Siwoo Kim. Just all throughout the lineups. And didn't matter what I did. And I went and even looked at like projection models and seeing if there were outlier projection models, and I didn't see any. Then I saw one that was a little bit of an outlier, so I eliminated it. You know what I mean? I eliminated that model so that I could just see whatever. Then I was getting like 98%. Okay, so the Siwoo Kim thing is just something that is just permeating all the optimizers. It just is. And if it's permeating mine, it's permeating all of them. So whatever you're seeing as far as ownership on him, like I see some places have like 20 or 25. I think that it might be higher in big buy-in just because of what I just said, that everybody's just getting there. And I don't know why I guess that particular price range with his particular skill set, with his particular what is getting there. But that's going to be, don't be surprised if that piece turns out to be really, really high on. And I'm getting there quite a bit. Other guys in the 8K range I'm getting to is now, which I kind of like. I'm getting to over 20% of Cameron Young. Doesn't seem like where you want to play him. You know what I mean? Because he hits the ball really far and, whatever. But so I'm kind of glad I'm getting some of that. Russell Henley seems to be the ultra, very obvious other guy that I want to play. Now, when I look at some of these other guys that I'm getting a decent amount of, I like it when I find a guy that even, talk about the eye test or whatever. Like, remember all those weeks we said, why is Hideki 8,300? You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make any sense. I'm just going to say, I don't know about the course fit, I don't know whatever it is, but we've played Sam Burns at much higher prices than this. So I am going to say that the what is this price? Play in this range is Sam Burns. So 8,200 for Sam Burns, and it's been confirmed by the fact that I'm actually getting some of him also, which is what I like. So Sam Burns, Cam Young, and Siwoo Kim.
I am definitely worried about Sam Burns and the baby thing. That one's due even closer, and they're both obviously going to leave. But like, he's usually a guy I played. I mean, I was going to be well overweight last week. I'm glad I wasn't. He had a horrible day one and couldn't quite recover. But I'm sticking with the guys I like here. So I like Thigala. I think he finished like 4th here last year. I like Cam Young as well. Just a little beneath Thigala, and maybe even for some of the reasons you said. If this was like a major, I would have Cam Young more than I would have Thigala because he knows how to play those courses well. It is also interesting to see Finau, like, just everybody in this range I just kind of like. I don't have like really strong takes. I think the one that I end up with the most of are Russell Henley and Siwoo Kim, and then I think Thigala. And then I think I'm mixing in some Cam Young, some Shane Lowry, but probably near the field. And the one I understand the Justin Thomas thing. I am very confused at what his ownership will be, because I've looked around. You see it some places as low as 5% and some places as high as 25%. I mean, it is all over the map with the Justin Thomas. And honestly, that'll dictate what I do. If he's 5% owned, I'll be over the field. If he's 15% owned, I probably don't end up playing him hardly at all, if at all. So that's the way I'm treating this range. But mostly it's Thigala, Henley, and Kim for me. All right. Down to the 7. So do you want to do 75 to 8 just because it's a little easier? Okay, we can do the whole way. It takes me a while because I always forget about somebody.
Well, I could start by telling you that I don't have too much over 7,500 in this range.
Okay.
I have nobody over 14%, and the only guys I have are Kirk and Brian Harman. Those are literally the only guys I have more than double digits out of 150 lineups in this range. And the guys that you would think that I would want to have would be Akshay Bhatia, maybe Harris English, maybe Denny McCarthy. But for whatever reason, I'm just not quite getting to.
Yeah, those are kind of the names that I'm looking at here mostly too. Going down from the top, I like Brian Harman a lot. I'm actually really surprised that people are just like giving up on Harman. Not me. I'm not done yet. I don't mind Benny On, and I like the Zaydenhout a little bit. Everybody I like is a little bit. Harris English is the one that, it seems like it's pretty popular. I'm not entirely sure why. But the guys I really like, the low-owned ones, the ones that I'm going to be the heaviest on, will be Cam Davis and Taylor Moore.
Cam Davis is under 7,500. You can't do that to me.
You can't do that to him, especially after he just almost like –
No, you can't do it to me because I deliberately didn't go under 7,500.
Oh, you were doing the 7,500. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
My fault. Okay, sorry. Okay, so just
well, you can, but then I'll just do 7,500.
Harman and Bhatia would be the ones I have the most interested in the 75, and then Benny On, but not as much in him.
So why don't you talk now about 7,400 and below?
because I love the 7,400 specifically, exactly that price range. I love Taylor Moore. I'm just going to keep riding it, man. I don't know what's going on. Nobody's catching on to it. He's playing great. He just finished 20th at the Masters, and honestly, he could have done a little better than that. Tom Kim with the best, most impressive round, other than maybe, I don't know which one would be most impressive. It was impressive on Sunday that he shot 6 under. And I like Tom Kim, so I would like to be in the overweight Tom Kim in general business. So Kim and Moore at 7,400 flat, along with Davis. That's my main guys here. And everybody else, I have a little interest in Pavon and a little bit of interest in Jaeger, but not anything special.
So that's going to be like the real question: are you, or the general you, are people a believer in the immediate turnaround resurgence of Tom Kim? Because he like basically shot like 90, like 100 rounds in a row. Okay, and he came out on Sunday and shot the best round of the day. And when I'm running builds with him right now, I'm getting a bunch. I'm getting like 25% of Tom Kim. It feels like a total sucker play to me. Like the way I look at it, when you say like, what do you think of him? Is it being impressed about the 65 on the last day of the Masters? Like, to me, like when you're like in last place and you can just YOLO everything, it's not particularly impressive to me. But nonetheless,
it's still hitting on the same course that no one can make a birdie on. Like,
I get it, but so I do have quite a bit of him. And the guy that scares me is the other two guys that you said, both of them, and for the same, well, not so much for the same reasons. So Cam Davis, 7,400, he was just great last week. Can't be great every day in those conditions, but if you ask me like who is going to do well in those conditions, Cam Davis would be the last person I would come up with. So good on him. Don't know, again, if I want to play a guy like that on this course. That's the only thing that I'm a little nervous about. That's not
your last year, if that helps at all.
Yeah, a little bit. So I'm not getting a ton, I'm getting a decent amount, and then the Taylor Moore you mentioned as well, and I am getting the aforementioned Pavon that you regarded, that you talked about. I am not getting, and I might force him in, the Tom Hoagie, because he was doing really, really well.
Yeah, it feels like we're under. Maybe we should look at that. Like he could have been like 9K, and it wouldn't have surprised us. He didn't have to play the Masters.
Brandon Todd's like the obvious, guy you'd want to play at this course. I'm just not getting to him. Adam Schenk, not getting to him. Jaeger, not getting to him. I'm just going up the board here. Little disrespectful on Sanjay M, I have to say. I'm just not getting there. I'm just kind of reading names now, but I'm just not playing them.
And he's played very well in the past. Just to give a quick Tom Kim, I'm sorry, Sanjay thing. He's played really well here. Sorry,
Keegan Bradley, I guess, whatever. But listen, you can't play everybody. So for me, Tom Kim so far, and Cam Davis and Taylor Moore. So, and I'm not particularly comfortable with any of them. So I guess that makes it good.
Hey, well, I mean, yeah, I get it, but it's not like we're paying 9K for them after a good Masters run. We're paying 7,400, and just to go back to my Tom Kim thing real quick, I just want to point out one thing out. I think he's like on the verge of being a top 20 golfer, top 15 golfer in the world. Like it'll happen any day now. He's just young. And I just want to keep getting ahead on the young guys, even if it sometimes doesn't work out for that tournament. I think that's just, it worked. It's how I built a bankroll with golf was Sam Burns and Carson Young and guys, Cameron Young, guys like that. And that's sort of where, when Tom Kim is, when everybody goes on him, I'll jump off. When nobody's going on him, or when he's 8% owned or 10% owned at 7,400, that's probably when I jump on. Do you have much under the 7Ks?
I do.
Okay.
My the top guy I have the most exposure to is under 7K, and that would be Lucas Glover. He's the guy I have the most of anybody in my pool right now. And it's not that much. I mean, it's like 30%. And when I'm playing like 150, I usually, even with 150, I like to have like a bigger piece of somebody, but I just don't. But he is the highest owned guy that I have right now. Models really well for a course like this. Makes the other stuff work really well. So he is, top owned guy for me in overall in the whole slate. And then other guys down in this range that I'm getting more than 10% of, would be guys that we've played before. That would be Austin Eckroat and Eric Cole.
So you named two names that I absolutely love, and I love Eckroat and Glover, both of them. So I'm happy to hear you say that one. I like Adam Hadwin. I think the 6,700 is kind of silly. I like Grillo, who's played this course well in the past as well. I like Kitayama. So this is why I am ending up with three guys in the 9Ks, because I like this range and the 9K range quite a bit. And if I'm not going to be spending 10K, I'm not like leaving 4,000 on the table. So I'm just ending up with builds with the 9Ks and then these guys. But Eckroat and Glover Glover are the highest for me. And I don't mind the Eric Cole thing, but I just like Hadwin next, I guess. Not a course fit for Eric Van Rooyen, but he's been just much better this year in general than we've seen him in the past. So maybe we should just keep an eye out for that, I guess, is pretty much the best way to say it. The one that's kind of interesting, because you might want to build some weird lineups and spend all the way down. I think both Toasty and Seamus Power, I think, are a little bit interesting at 6,100. It's kind of disrespectful. And I mean, look, the optimal in the Masters is always going to be closer to the spending your full salary. The optimal for this tournament, there's a chance where like you could have like 10K left on the table, or 15 or 20. I mean, there's a lot of guys down here at the bottom. Thomas Dietrich is another one that I could see like really contending to win this tournament. I don't think they're just like names in there. Dunlap, Svensson. These guys are all solid plays, but I like the ones you mentioned the most, Eckroat, Glover, to go with my Hadwin. And now we get to play the game.
Yes, we do. So who is going to win the golf tournament?
All right, I'm gonna. I didn't pick him to win last week. I said top 10 and not even top 5. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bite. That's between two guys for me. I'll pick Fleetwood, I guess.
You're dipping down below the 10K range.
Yes.
I will go with Xander Schauffele.
I'm glad you said that, because it's going to force me to play him. I'm going to go under 10K, top 5. I'm going to go with Fitz. That's going to be a common pairing for me this week.
And I am going to go with Will Zalatoris to go top 5.
Ooh, we didn't mention him yet. I like that.
Yeah, he was the only guy I had in that range, actually, that I really liked at all. So that's where I'm going with him.
That makes sense. I'm going to say so we're at top 10 now.
Yeah, under 8K for top 10.
No, under 9K.
Under 9K for top 10. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm going to say Thigala.
And I will go with Cameron Young.
Okay, I like that. That was
under 8K for top 20.
I have so many guys that I like. Will you go first on this one?
Yeah. Top 20. That would be tough for this guy. Actually, it wouldn't be that tough. I just feel the guy I was supposed to take is going to miss the cut, so I'm not going to play him. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with Matthew Pavon to go top 20.
Okay.
I'm just afraid if I play too much Tom Kim, he's going to miss the cut.
I know it's very possible. Like, I mean, I totally get it. I am actually not going to say Tom Kim. I'm going to say Taylor Moore.
I like that.
Under 7K.
Just for emphasis, okay? Just because, again, I just ran another build while we were thinking about this, just to make sure I'm getting even a little bit more of him. So I'm going to, for emphasis, say Lucas Glover.
I agree 100% on that call. I'm going to mention that everything you said about this course, although he can actually hit it further now, like it sort of seemed like it would have suited your other guy in Eckroat. Yeah. But I want to be a little bit more bold, and I am going to say, because I think he's got a chance to actually make a run if he makes the cut. And I would say Seamus Power. You know what? No. You know what? I'm sticking with Hadwin. Never mind. I want to stick with what I got. So who is going to be over 9K to miss the cut?
Probably none of them. But I'm just gonna go with my projections on this one. I'm gonna say the lowest projected guy. All right, let's just print. I'm just gonna print again. I'm gonna go with Jordan Spieth again.
Okay. I am going to make a bold take now, but here's the thing though. Like what happens? Do we count that? I guess it doesn't count as a miscut, even though withdrawal technically wipes it at the slate. Does that count?
If he does not play the third round, then you win.
Oh, he has to. What if he leaves after like 6 holes? Okay, so I guess that's answering my own question because I did want to take a little bit of a gamble there. Even though he's my favorite guy in this range, maybe a little bit of a hangover for Oberg, I guess. I
was gonna be even bolder. I was gonna go Rory. I couldn't do it though.
I was gonna say Scheffler. That's why I was saying it.
Yeah, I was gonna go Rory, but I just couldn't do it. I don't think the PGA would permit it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, this is a cut event, right?
It is.
We sure?
Oh, maybe. Wait a minute. Is this not even a cut event? Is that why? This would be awful if this were not. I guess it's not. I only have 70 golfers here.
Yeah, I think that it's not. I think I messed that up. I actually think I should have. I don't know why I didn't have that in front of me.
Oh, oops. Which is also why probably we're getting these stars and scrubs builds. Oops.
Yeah, it does make some sense why you would end up with stars and scrubs builds. I still like the list of guys. It's not the Masters. Not going to be as much of a launching week for me, but I like what we came up with.
I'll tell you what.
So nobody's missing the cut.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to say that Jordan Spieth is not in the top 50. How about that? We'll do that.
Okay, I'm going to say Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns don't finish the tournament.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. I wonder if I can get odds on that somewhere.
No, but you could bet the unders probably.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Dude, I spoke to I did this that podcast with GP13 who his big thing is like he bets golf. That's what he does like 99% of the time. And they do like all the overs and the unders and stuff like that. It's
that's
pretty
cool.
So,
yeah. No, I checked out a little bit of it, but then I got another thing going on, so I have to finish that up. All right. Anything else, Sheets, before we get out of here?
No.
And apologies for us missing the miscut thing a while ago. So,
well, it's fine. Maybe listen. I've had 17 straight losing classic slates, so maybe shaking it up a little bit will turn that around. So we'll see. Yeah. But everyone telling you it's like ultimate bet back in poker. Like just when you're never going to play there again, they kind of like give you something like every once in a while they'll gift me some showdown slate for no reason. So that's what golf has done in the last couple of months. Like I haven't won any classic slates, but I've won like 2 showdown slates for like 75,000. So,
I'll trade with you any day. You could take my $300 a week or whatever to make up it. Just for what it's worth, because of that, and I forgot to say it, he's in your lineups right here in his early builds. I like the Jake Knapp thing then a little bit as a guy who could, because he's like a total wild card, but I think that he's got talent and he'd be one I want to throw in there. Good luck to everybody this week. Hopefully we see some screenshots on Sunday, and take it easy, guys. Sheets, can you hold on for 1 second after I hang up?